Hi, boys and girls. My name is Miss Jennifer, and I'm a teaching artist in the PACE Art program. I am here today to do an art lesson with you. I am so glad that you could join me. Today we'll be focusing on a science-based art lesson. The lesson will have to do with several things that you've been learning with your classroom teacher in the past few weeks. We'll be talking about seasons, winter weather, cardinals, evergreen trees, and things that help to keep us warm in the winter. We'll be creating a landscape drawing today of a winter scene. The supplies that you will need today will be a white sheet of paper and a variety of crayons. Now, let's make sure that we also get a black crayon so that we can use our black crayon to draw our cardinal today. We will be using the different lines, shapes, and colors on our lesson today. We'll be focusing on directional words like top, bottom, sides, and middle. Another thing that we will be focusing on today will be foreground, middle ground, and background of your picture. So what is a season? Well, a season is a time of the year where the weather changes. There are 4 different kinds of seasons in a year. The seasons are spring, summer, fall, and winter. In each of these seasons, there are different weather patterns. We'll be focusing on winter today, but we will be talking about spring, summer, and fall a little bit in our video today. So, saying that, let's think about winter. What kind of weather do we have in the winter? Well, if you look up here, you will see that this is a picture of winter. We know that in the winter, it's very wet, cold. It's very cold. And sometimes it's very rainy and icy because the temperatures get so cold that it makes the water turn to ice. And so, let's think about this. If we think about snow, well, snow are tiny little droplets of water that are falling from the sky. And as they're falling from the sky, they start to freeze and they make what we call snowflakes. Good job. I heard you guys say it with me. And here is a picture of a snowflake. Now, did you know that not all snowflakes are the same? No 2 snowflakes will ever look the same because as those water droplets freeze, it freezes into different sort of little lines and shapes, and that's what makes each snowflake look different. So this is a snowflake. Now, in the winter, when it's raining, something else happens. We get these on the side of buildings. Does anybody know what these are called? Well, if you said icicles, you are right. What happens is as the water from the rain goes down the icicle, it freezes and gets longer and longer and longer. So we know that in the winter, it is very cold. Now, if I were wearing a bathing suit in the winter, would that be the kind of clothes that I need to wear? No, it would not. I would be super, super wet. Cold. Good job. And so today, we're not only going to look at the seasons in winter, but we're going to talk about things that you wear in the winter. Now, I am going to step over here and I'm going to show you something that I might wear in the winter. What are these, my friends? Gloves. So I would probably put on my gloves to stay warm in the winter. Would I wear these gloves in the spring? Probably not. Would I wear these gloves in the summer? No, I would be really hot. And then I have this. What do you think this might be, my friends? Well, you guessed it. It is a scarf. And we wear a scarf in the winter to stay what? Warm. Good job. And if I have this on my head, would I wear this in the summer? Of course not. This would also be for the winter. Now I'm missing one thing. What do you think that might be? Let me see. How about a coat? You're right. So I would be putting on a coat for the winter. And now I am ready for the winter. And of course, Miss Jennifer can't find her sleeve for her coat. Here we go. All right, so now I have my coat, and now I am ready for winter. Now, I'm going to keep my winter clothes on for a bit while we talk about our winter picture. And so we have snow, as I said, for our winter, and we know that snow is something that falls from the sky. Now remember that, because that's something that we're going to come back to in just a little bit. All right? So, we want to make sure that we stay warm in the winter. Bundling our clothes is always a good way to stay warm. Now, another thing that we're going to talk about for our lesson is the sky. Does anybody have an idea what this bird is called? Well, this bird is called a cardinal. And the cardinal is what color? Red. But they are not always just red, because here I have a picture of another kind of cardinal. Now, this one is the girl cardinal, and this one is the boy cardinal. The boy cardinal is red. And if you look at Miss Jennifer, I decided today to wear colors that were close to what the cardinal is wearing. Our cardinal also has black and a little yellow orange on it. All right, so our cardinal, which I also have here, is a bird that we find in the winter. And cardinals love snow. They like to be in the super cold weather. And the reason that a cardinal can stay where it is cold, if we look at this picture here, we'll see that he's nice and fluffy. Well, cardinals and other birds grow extra feathers in the winter time so that they're nice and fluffy. So the feathers help to keep them warm, just like our coats and our hat and our scarf and our gloves help to keep us warm. So now Miss Jennifer is going to take off my winter clothes because I'm ready to start our lesson. Again, knowing that to keep warm, cardinals use extra feathers. I'm ready to start drawing with you. So let's go ahead and make sure that you put your paper in front of you. And you may want to put it so that it's laying on its side horizontally instead of vertically. That means that our paper is kind of laying on its side. And I'm ready to begin. The very first thing that I want to do today is I want to draw my fun little cardinal that's trying to stay warm in that super, super cold weather. So when I draw my cardinal today, I'm going to be using some different lines and sort of shapes that you have been learning. And so here, I'm going to draw it first. You'll draw it after me on your picture. So watch me. An easy way to draw my cardinal is to start at the top with a dot. Now watch this. I'm going to start here and I'm going to put another dot right underneath it here, about that far apart. I'm going to start at the top and I'm going to go down and around, kind of like I'm making the bottom of an oval, but when I go back to the top, I'm making a point. All right? So let's decide where you want your cardinal. On my picture, I decided I wanted my cardinal on the bottom, and that's what I'm going to do again here. So I'm going to put my dot and my other dot, and you may do this with me with your black crayon. You're going to start at the top dot, and you're going to go around the bottom and back to the top. That is going to be my cardinal's body. Now, on my cardinal will need some wings. Now, I'm not going to put his wings spread out, but I want to put his wings so that you can see them on his body. So right here, about here, I'm going to make one curved line on this side and another curved line on the other side. So let's do that to our cardinal now. One curved line on one side and another curved line on the other side. Good job. That is my cardinal's body. Awesome. Now, my cardinal's going to need something on his face, and that's going to be a beak. You're right, a beak. And our beak will be like an upside down triangle. So here I go. Straight line and two straight lines to make my upside down triangle. Again, remember, our triangle looks like this, but we're flipping it so it's a straight line, and then we go down and up again. And I'm going to make his beak right here. Now there is my cardinal's beak. Now, a cardinal, if you look very carefully right here, you will notice that his eye is what color? Black. And his eyes are about right here on both sides of his beak. And so let's put one eye here and another eye on the other side. Now noticing that my cardinal is not at the top of my paper, it is at the bottom of my paper. So there's my cardinal. My little cardinal needs to stand on some little feet, so I'm going to put a straight line and a straight line. So straight line. Then 1, 2, 3, because cardinals and birds have 3 toes. 1, 2, 3. Let's add that to our picture. And there we go. There is our little cardinal. One more thing that we need on our cardinal. Cardinals also have a tail. So we need to put a tail on our cardinal. So if you look at this picture here, you will see that our cardinal has a long red tail. And for our tail, we're simply going to make a really large triangle that's sort of laying on its side. And you know what? I'm going to add it right here. Here we go. So one line, 2 lines, kind of like the letter V, and then close it off. So here we go. 1 line, 2 lines, kind of like our diagonal lines. One diagonal, another diagonal, and then close it off. Now you might want to put some lines on the inside so that it looks like the little feathers. And if you want, you can also add some feathers on his little wings, just like this. Good job. Now we're going to be moving on to the other part of our picture, which is what he is standing on. Well, he is standing on the ground, so we're going to use our wavy line all the way across our paper. And that's the ground, but we're going to leave it white because that is our snow that is on the ground. Good job. So now we have our snow. And we are going to now take our brown crayon. So let's get a brown crayon. And now we want to work on something else. So here I have 2 different pictures of trees. These trees are called evergreen trees. Evergreen trees stay green all year long. What does this tree sort of remind you of? Well, if you said a Christmas tree, you were right. These trees stay green even in the winter, as you can see the snow down here. And here is another evergreen tree, and this one is sort of like a pine tree. So we're going to be adding some trees to our picture today. We're going to use a brown, and we're simply going to draw a straight line just like this. And you can decide where you want your trees to be on your picture. I think I want one here, here, and maybe even here. I want 3 of them. And if you want to make the trunk of your tree a little bit thicker, you can do that by simply just kind of coloring it a little darker and a little whiter. Just like that. And there's the trunk of your trees. The next part that we're going to be working on are the tops of the trees. So if you look here, we're working on an evergreen tree, and remember our evergreen trees stay green all year. So we are going to be making our evergreen tree. If you watch me here, there's kind of a couple ways that you can do this. One, you can make sure that you kind of make like a little zigzag all the way down on one side, a zigzag down on the other side, and that kind of makes tree number one. Then we can make another kind of tree. Maybe you just want to color it so that maybe it's like a triangle. Then you can start small again and you can get larger. And then you could start small again and you can get larger again. So those are two ways that you can make your evergreen trees. I think I want to make my trees look like this one. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to start at the top and I'm going to just kind of make my zigzags get bigger and bigger toward the bottom. You could always go back and you could add more of them. And that's one side and this is the other side. So whatever you did on one side, you're going to do to the other side. You decide on which way you want to make your trees. It doesn't matter to Miss Jennifer. So go ahead and let's make our trees now. Here's my second one. I'm going to make a little point on the top of this one. Make it just a tiny bit different. So there's one tree, two trees, and here's my third tree. I made 3 trees. Maybe you made more. Maybe you just made one. It's really up to you on what you want to make. And so those are the tops of my evergreen trees. Again, evergreen trees do not change colors. So that means they do not have leaves that fall like in the fall. Because we know in the fall, the leaves change what? Colors, and the leaves fall to the ground. That does not happen with an evergreen tree. So there are my trees. Now the next thing that I want to do is I want to decide, am I going to have a day sky or a night sky? You know what? I think I want to have a night sky. If I want to have a night sky, what do I need to put in the sky of my picture? Well, if you said maybe a moon, you are right. Now there's lots of ways that we can make a moon. And I'm just going to kind of draw it with my black color first so you to see. So you could draw a moon so that it's a full moon where it's sort of a circle. Or you could even draw a crescent moon. What letter does that look like to you, boys and girls? Well, if you said a letter C, you are correct. So we can make a letter C and then watch this. Start back at the top and back around to the bottom. And there we go. Now we have a crescent moon. It kind of also looks like a banana, but there we go. So I'm going to put my moon, and you can put it anywhere in the sky that you want. I'm going to put mine right here. So big letter C. Start at the top, down to the bottom. And I'm drawing my moon on the top of my paper. Again, I'm going to start here, and I'm going to draw it again to the inside. Now, it's okay if you decide you want to use your black color to draw it, or if you just wanted to use your yellow color to draw it. It's really up to you. And to draw your moon, either a full moon or a crescent moon. Remembering that we are making a night sky. And then you can color it in. We can use yellow to color it in. We could use some orange. It's always nice that we can use different colors, not just one color, maybe even a little red if you want. Now watch this. Our moon is very bright, and so we could even maybe make a little bit of the yellow around the moon, sort of like it's glowing through the sky. And so do that now. There's something else in the sky that we could actually make too, and it's called a star. Watch me. So to make our star, we can make a straight line going from top to bottom. This would be our vertical line. We could also make a horizontal line, and that makes sort of like the letter T. And then we could do this. We could put our X on top. Diagonal line going this way, diagonal line going that way. We go back to our T, and here, diagonal this way and diagonal that way. Here we go. vertical line, horizontal line, diagonal line on this side, and diagonal on that side. Just practice. If you don't get that X on top, it is okay. I am going to do that with my yellow here, and I'm going to make me some big old stars. Just like this. So, let's take some time and let's put a couple of stars on your picture. Your pictures are looking really nice, boys and girls. While you're working on your moon and you're working on your stars, I want to talk about another season. Well, we talked about winter being very cold, and we know that we talked about summer being very hot. Remember, we talked about having to wear like a bathing suit because it's so hot and you just can't take enough clothes off, because in the summer it's very hot. But let's now talk about fall. In the fall, the weather's still a little warm, kind of a little cool, but not as cold as it is in the winter time. And something happens to the leaves on the trees. They start to what? They start to fall. So if you want to also maybe add a tree that you would see in the fall, maybe you could do that on the side of your paper. So you can make a giant old tree trunk, just like this. And our fall tree would only have branches, just straight lines with little lines. And that would be sort of like our fall tree. Of course, it would have no leaves. What kind of clothing do you think you would wear in the fall? I think probably just a short sleeve shirt and maybe even some shorts. Sometimes maybe pants. Our spring season is sort of similar to the fall. It's not really cold and it's not really hot. So again, we could probably wear short sleeves, maybe a little jacket and some pants. And so there we have our 4 seasons, our summer, our fall, our winter, and our spring. We are in the winter season now, and next it will be spring. All right, so now I want to go back and I want to start adding some more things to my picture. If you have a white crayon, you can use your white. If not, it's okay. You could use your black. Now to make snowflakes, and we know that Miss Jennifer showed you a beautiful picture of a snowflake that had lots of different lines on it, similar to our star. So if you want to make your snowflakes sort of look like stars, you could also do that. Or if you want to just make them as like little circles, you could do that. If you have white, you can color those circles in, just like that. So I think I want to make my snow like little bitty circles, and I want to color them in with my white. And so there you go. If you have a white, you can color yours in. And you could always make more snow later if you would like on your picture. You could also maybe add some white to the bottom of your paper for your snow, but you don't really have to because your paper is already white. Good job. All right, now what I want to do is I want to color my cardinal. My cardinal is what color? Red. And here I go. So I'm going to color my little cardinal here. And I'm not going to color his beak because his beak is going to be a different color. And I'm also going to remember to color in his tail. Now let's look at something while you are coloring your cardinal. We put our moon on the top of our paper. We put our snow on the what, boys and girls? The bottom of our paper. Here, Miss Jennifer put a fall tree on the side of my paper. And here, I put another tree, but a evergreen tree on this side. So here's my top, bottom, and sides of my paper. Now, I want to think about something else or look at something else. If I look at my snow on my picture, which is at the bottom of my paper, would be called the foreground of my picture. That part is the front. So usually the foreground touches the bottom of the paper. That's what's in the front, foreground. Let's say it together, foreground. Now my trees are kind of in the middle of my paper. So my trees are known as the middle ground. So my snow is the foreground, my trees are the middle ground. They're sort of in the middle of my paper, and they kind of look like they're going back a little bit. And then my sky will be my background. Good job. Just like if you're taking a picture of yourself, you would be in the foreground, you would be kind of touching the bottom, and you would be in the front, and whatever's behind you would be the background. Good job. So here I go and color my bird a little darker if I want. I could even maybe add a little black to my bird if I want. Remember, our cardinals have fluffy feathers because in the winter they get new feathers to stay warm. What do you think might happen to those feathers in the summer? Do you think they're going to stay on the bird? No, they're going to shed those feathers, just like if Miss Jennifer is taking off her coat for the summer. I don't need my coat anymore. Well, he doesn't need all of his extra feathers anymore. All right, and now the next thing I want to do is I want to color my sky. Now I know that I am making a night sky, so I could add maybe some black to my sky. Maybe you could add some gray, some white. It's really up to you because a night sky sometimes even has a little bit of blue. The light from the moon makes it still have a little bit of color. And so there we go. Just like that. If you want to make a couple maybe like little heels down here, you could even go back and you could add some curved lines. Maybe color just a little bit so that it looks like maybe a shadow along the edge of the snow, just like this. And so there you go. So now you have your winter picture with a night sky. I think I have a little bit more time. I want to take another color green. It started like a yellow green, and I kind of want to add it to my trees. Just like this. Maybe my other one I want a little bit of a different color, and so maybe I'm going to add this color. If you want, you could also go back and you could add some black to the tree trunks of your tree. So remember that our cardinal likes winter weather, and in the winter he gets extra feathers, but in the summer he sheds those feathers off so that he is nice and cool. It is sort of the same way that we do with our clothes. In the summer we take more off. In the spring and the fall we start to put a little bit more clothes to stay warm, and in the winter we bundle up. So animals do the same thing. Not only birds, but other animals get thicker fur. And so, as you can see, our cardinal here has nice fluffy feathers. Today, we learned about the season of winter. Winter weather, evergreen trees, cardinals, and things that help to keep us warm in cold winter weather. We also talked about different kinds of things that we wear in other seasons. We know that during the winter it is usually very wet and cold. Sometimes it even snows. So keeping that in mind, I want you to continue adding beautiful snowflakes to your picture. You may also want to draw another cardinal or maybe even more evergreen trees to your picture. It is up to you on what you decide to add to your winter landscape. Once again, I want you to have fun making art and adding things that you want to your picture. Until next time, I want you to show your friends and your family your beautiful picture, and I'll see you again for another lesson.